real mind. Loneliness. You know, in this world, when we're brought in here, we are born alone. I remember what it was like before. Just complete and utter darkness. Yet, I felt calm. I felt at peace. I don't know. I was just tired, sleeping. I felt comfortable. And the next thing I know, there's this tiny thing right in the center. You know, I don't know what it is. But then I start looking forward. You know, I realize I'm like in this room, just shrouded in darkness. And I'm probably already existing right then and there. I don't even know it. And I just see this tiny little thing right before my eyes. It starts expanding and expanding. I realize it's like this whiteness. It's just a full white light, you know, shimmering into my eyes. I'm going blind. And it grows larger and larger and larger. Next thing I know, everything fades in. And I'm a 5-year-old child just standing there right in front of my couch, one of my old homes. And next thing I know, all these memories are flashing in, all this knowledge. And I'm here in the now. And yet, I just go on about it. I just tell myself, well, I exist. Here I am. Let me get back to what I was doing before. Don't remember anything, you know. A lot of people don't remember what it was like before we existed, but I do. You know, and I remember, I don't even think it was pure darkness. I think it was just, I was just like in space, you know. And then I was just brought into existence like that. And it's lonely when you're in there. You're at peace. At least I was. I was calm and comfortable, and yet, you know, I felt alone. It wasn't until, you know, nobody likes feeling alone. It's a terrible feeling. I've been there. I'm still there, and probably will never escape it. And everybody else feels the same way. It's why we're all so desperate to find somebody. Connection. You know, it's the one thing I think we all want out of life, right? I think we may tell ourselves we want to be rich, want a nice house, no bills to worry about, you know, get a nice car, go to a nice school, get the job we all want, have a roof over our heads, a lot of things we want, you know, friends, that's what we really want, love, that's what we really want, fucking dog is what we really want, you know, our family to understand us, that's all we want, connection, that's all we really want, you know. I mean, we were so alone before, and when we were brought into this world, we realized that we were brought into a place so occupied. There's all these people here on a whole freaking planet. People like you and me, same eyes, same nose, same lips. Maybe not the same skin color, maybe not the same haircut. Both have eyes to see everything. Both have ears to listen to everything. We're all breathing the same air. And we all live hopefully similar lives. We both live in a building we call a house that feels familiar to us. It's our basis, it's our day-to-day life. We all got things to do. Go to school, go to work, hang out with your friends, spend time with your family or your lover. Go play fetch with your fucking dog, you know? It's just how it is. But why is it that we're so desperate for connection? Why is it so hard to get it? We live in a world, fucking, you can't even walk outside. Or how these days be inside without people existing all around us. Fucking go outside, see somebody walking their dog, people sleeping in their houses, some guy walking across the street bunch of cars passing by, go inside. Yeah, you're in your room by yourself. Go on the computer. Endless YouTube videos of people that exist in the same world, maybe far from you, maybe right next door to you, yet they exist. You know, you feel company watching those videos of them. You go to a Twitch stream, go on Instagram, go on Twitter, fucking X, go do anything, We need connection, There's many types of connection, I'm one of those people. People think when I say love, you think romance. And that is love, but there's more to love than just that. Love is a big thing, like friendship. I'll be honest, I remember my first ever true friend. It was my first day of school, scared shitless. Oh no, it wasn't my first day of school. It was my school orientation, elementary school, and I walked in. My mom, I believe that day, my cousin from New York was over. My brother got so upset. Brother's younger than me, and they were just playing games together, hanging out. I was so happy to see her, and mom was bringing me over to do some shit. I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go to the grocery store. Hated that shit when I was a kid. And she brings me to this building. Building turned out to be my school. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I get brought in. I'm scared shitless. My little brother earlier was taunting me. Haha, you have to go to school. Me clueless, like, what the fuck is that? So my mom's going inside to the office, writing down files, or what the fuck, signing me up for this bullshit. I'm sitting there, right? And there's this mother to my right. She's got her son in her on her legs, playing on this device, thinking, I'm like, what the fuck is that? It was a phone. And, I kind of peek over, looking at it. He's playing some game. The game was Angry Birds. My first, one of my first proper game that I played. And I just see him playing it. I'm like fascinated, like, ooh, like, what the hell is that? We were pretty poor back then. And so, the mom didn't have to do anything. It was just how nice that kid was. He just looked at me and he's like, do you want to try? And I'm like, nodding my head. Gives it to me. Sits next to me. I'm playing on the phone. He's teaching me how to play. We're having so much fun. And I was scared shitless. First day of school. Scared. My mom won't see me. Next thing I know, I see that kid again. Became best friends. I was so happy. I would go to his house all the time. Watch, cartoons on Netflix. And Eddie on reruns. There's his little sister. I felt welcome. I felt comfortable in his home. And, many countless sleepovers. I was bullied ever since kindergarten. A lot of kids didn't like me because I was different. Maybe it's because of my mild autism that I don't even know if I have that shit or not, but I probably do. I have something. Or maybe it was the color of my skin. A lot of white kids in my school. It wasn't until a bunch of other colored kids started coming in later on, And maybe it was just me, autism or not, my ethnicity or not. Maybe I was just always different, regardless of how I looked or how I made people feel. And, but always that kid. It's one thing that kept me sane, comfortable. Have we stayed best friends since? Nah. It's life put us apart. And when I lost him, I lost everything. So fucking upset. Sad that I couldn't see him again. Still think about him from time to time. I think about all the happy memories he made with me. He was a good kid. He deserved better than me. Of course, I met my other best friend. The guy who would fill him in after I lost him. And he was great. And I lost him too. Again, different schools, and they separated us. I told myself 3 times the charm, I'm not losing this guy. 7th grade, I believe, it was math class, and you know, I had some friends, but they didn't really understand me, not really. Saw some shitty fucking movie, and then the next day, I'm talking about it to my friends. They don't really care, but they think it's funny. I'm just this fucking mad about this movie because I'm a fucking dork. Then this kid overhears it. He really likes, or we really like talking about the movie. He hated it too. And next thing I know, we became best friends. Still are to this very day. And because of that, just me talk about this one fucking movie. High school, me and our proper friend group that I still have to this day. Many more friends to come, and hopefully no more friends to lose. Friendship is a beautiful thing. But love, romance, is also very beautiful. I was that one kid, elementary school, every other guy, ew, goodies, girls are gross, yuck. Maybe I was a fucking donkey back then, but I don't know, I was an idiot. I didn't care. Give me all the cuties, I don't care. I was one guy that actually liked girls when I was younger, but they sure as shit didn't like me, and I guess I just wasn't attractive enough. I didn't like sports. I was always doodling, penciling shit. I liked reading comic books, movies, all the other boys playing soccer, having fun. The girls are just checking them out, asking them to be their boyfriends, and I was just that one weird kid in the grass, sitting on my ass, just touching these beautiful flowers and playing around with butterflies, and the boys would bully me for it, call me a weirdo and shit. That's all I ever wanted, was a partner like that. I tell myself I feel like I'd be a great boyfriend because, it's not even that I would treat them with respect, it's that I would generally love them, care for them. But I never found somebody that was like that for me. I remember the first time I really fell for someone like that. It was, I don't even know how I remember it still to this day, but I was like 3 years old, and we were living in a very shitty house in Miami, and it was like a very small house, but there was us, me and my mom, my little brother, and then there was this woman and her daughter. We had this little swing set outside. Me and my brother, we really found her, pretty, me especially, and we used to swing with her all the time, and it's all my brain will allow me to remember. I can remember it with like this golden vintage look to it, and I just really felt for her, and for many stories of heartbreak, heart warmth. It's why now that I've kind of given up, that I think when it comes to that kind of love, I don't really care about having a girlfriend. I was never into sexualization or anything. I just wanted somebody I could cry with, I could tell everybody with, treat them, like I love them so much. I fucking love the floor they walk on, and I always treat people that way, but I think it's more important I treat myself that way more than anything. But with love, romantic or platonic, there also comes a lot of hate. People that hate you, the opposite of love is hate. And yet in a weird way, there's some love to it. When I was younger, getting bullied every day by these fucking pieces of shit, if there's anything I'm grateful for when it came to that, is that looking back now, I had every right to just leave this world, and I got close, to be very honest. But yet I'm still here, still kicking. Maybe life isn't perfect, maybe I'm not where I wish I could be, I'm still here. And even though I got mad at them back, I told myself that I was pathetic back then, and that I'm just letting this happen to me, but looking back, I noticed there were some parts, and maybe it wasn't the right thing to do. Maybe I'm an asshole for stepping up to my opposers, but I could see I had that fight in me. It scares me. I'm scared of what I'm capable of, but I'm proud to see that there's a possibility of me sticking up for myself. Because even though back then I may have not been well sticking up for myself, I'm damn well sticking up for my friends. Because the thing about love also is that not only can rivalry and your opposers show you whether or not you can take care of yourself, not only push you to be the very best you can be by not being like them, but it showcases just how much you care about your allies, your friends. If you're the kind of man that will let them just be, or you're a true one and you'll stick up for them because you care about them that much. But out of any love, there's family. When you're brought into this world, forget about friends, forget about girlfriends, forget about your haters. Family is the one thing you got. And I'll tell myself back then that I used to be upset with the family I had. Not that I hated them. There were moments where we were happy together. I generally cared for them. Still do. There were moments where we had our fights, but we had our fun times. I just felt like my family never understood me. To this day, they still don't really understand me, but they're trying. And they still care for me. I used to tell myself that the only reason my parents give a shit about me is because of the label that they are, what they are supposed to be to you. But you need to love them in a way where if they were just some random stranger living in the same house as you, that you still care about them. You love them for who they are as a person, and also you just love them, and that family or not, you'll still take care of them the same way they'll still take care of you. And family is not defined by blood. A biological family is great, but step parents or just friendship turned into family is also a beautiful thing, because it also brings us to our very own world. Forget about families. This entire world, we started off being a bunch of cavemen, and we were put on this earth together, two people, which became this like 1 billion people on this planet. And yet, there's a lot of hate for everybody in this world, a lot of hate these days. But we need more love, because we're all the same, different, but still the same. And so there's a lot of beauty in this world. There is. No matter how dark things can get, or how fucked up we can be, or the terrible things we do to each other, to ourselves, this world is still capable of being beautiful. So you gotta love the world too. Love your fellow stranger. Help a guy out when you can. Smile at that person that seems to be having a bad day. Maybe, who knows, sitting on a park bench, some guy sitting next to you, and just have the nicest conversation, and you walk away, and by the end of the day, that really spoke out to you. But forget about the world, because when it comes to the end of the day, who do you have? Yourself. I've struggled with that a lot. Still kind of do. I look at myself in the mirror. Is that really me? Is this really how I look? Is this really who I am? Am I a bad person or a good person? I think it's ultimately up to you to define. It got to a point for me where I still forget what I look like, and I try to imagine myself a different way. But that's generally who we have, I don't even know what to say. Just love yourself. I remember I was talking to a friend, and she was telling me that I need to get friends, get a girlfriend, do all this and that. And I told her straight to her face, because it was frustrating me, because a bunch of people that time were telling me that. And I told her, how can someone love me if I don't love myself? And it was in that moment, in that truth, that I was asking myself that question, where it came from, and just telling myself, like, fuck, it's true, But it has to be genuine, And although I've been becoming more positive, depression comes in and out once in a while, In my own way, loving myself is being honest with myself that, I am ugly. I'm not a very good looking dude. But I am what I am. And although I'm not perfect, maybe I'm not the most fit guy, maybe I eat too much or too little, maybe I'm a nerd. Look at the best parts of me. Is that I love art and I'm creative and I can write. And that when you get on my good side, I'm filled with so much love. But there are things to me that I hate about myself, like how much hate I have inside, what remains of my heart. I could try to use it for good though. I guess that's just what it is. Connection. Out of any connection, you're not by yourself before. In that existence, that void, before we come to. Because there is somebody there and that's you. Friends, romance, family, the world, yourself. No matter what kind of love you have in your life, if any of those kinds, or maybe all of them, hold on to it, Just hold on as best as you can. And even if you lose it, have yourself, or always know that it will come by eventually, because we're never truly alone in this world. And even if we are alone in this world, that's still not true because you have you. We're all one soul. Just hold on to it. The best thing you can get in this world is something you can't buy. Love. Yet these days, it sure seems like the opposite. And that right there is some real bullshit.